Hello everyone, welcome back to Cholo Golpo Shuni presents English Voice Room. I am your storyteller Swetanshu, back with another horror story. I hope you love the story and do not forget to subscribe and share our channel. Happy listening. I have always loved libraries. There is something comforting about them. The smell of old pages, the quietness, the feeling that thousands of stories are sleeping on the shelves. A few years ago, I worked the night shift in a small public library on the edge of the town. It was an old building, built long before the electricity was common. The ceilings were high, the shelves tall, and the wooden floors creaked even when no one was walking on them. My job was simple: close the doors at night, organize returned books, and lock everything before leaving. Most nights were uneventful, but one night something happened. Something that I never could forget. It was around 10:30 p.m. The last visitor had already left, and the street outside had grown quiet. Rain had started falling lightly against the tall windows. Inside, the only sound was the slow turning of pages as I sorted books at the front desk. The light above the reading section flickered once, but I didn't think much of it. Old building have old wiring. I continued stacking books. Then I heard something. A book falling. Just the soft thud of a single book hitting the floor somewhere deep between the shelves. I looked up. No one was supposed to be inside. I waited for a moment, thinking maybe I had stacked something poorly earlier. But then another sound came. A slow movement of pages. Not a page turning quickly but slowly, carefully, as if someone was reading. The sound came from the history section. I walked towards it. The lights there were dimmer, and the shelves cast long shadows across the floor. As I reached the aisle, I looked around. No one, but one book was lying open on the ground. I bent down to pick it up. It was an old, worn-out book about the town's history. The pages were yellow and fragile. As I lifted it, something odd caught my attention. The page was open to an article about the library itself. Apparently, the building used to be something else before it became a library. A prison, more specifically, a holding cell where criminals were kept before execution. I remember feeling slightly uneasy, but I closed the book and placed it back on the shelf. Just an old story, nothing more, I said to myself. I turned to walk back towards the desk. That was when I heard it again. Another book fell, and this time it was closer. I turned around immediately. The book that had fallen was not far from me, but what made my skin crawl was not the book. It was the ladder beside the shelf, the wooden library ladder that people use to reach higher shelves. It was slowly rolling across the rail, moving on its own, very slowly, as if someone unseen was sliding it. The wheels made a faint metal sound as it moved, inch by inch. I stood frozen. The ladder stopped directly in front of one shelf. Then another sound came. The heavy book sliding out. Slowly, the book slipped from the shelf and fell to the ground. The sound echoed loudly in the empty library. For a moment, I could not move, but curiosity or maybe fear forced me to look at the book. I walked closer. It was another history book. When I opened it, my hands suddenly felt cold. The page that had been opened showed an old photograph. A black and white photograph of prisoners standing inside a holding cell. Men waiting for execution. But that was not the part that terrified me. In the background of the photograph, behind the prisoners, there were shelves. Shelves filled with books. The exact same shelves that were standing around me, which meant the photograph had been taken in this very room long before it became a library. And in the corner of that photograph, there was a man standing alone. Not a prisoner, not a guard. Just a man standing quietly beside a shelf, looking directly at the camera. I remember staring at his face because it looked familiar, too familiar. It took me few seconds to realize why. The man in the photograph was wearing the same library uniform I was wearing that night. And the name tag on his chest had my name on it. Thank you for listening to our story. Hope you guys liked it. Drop a comment about your thoughts and share this story with your friends and families. We will be back again with another story for you. Until then, happy listening.